I have been posting on YouTube for a year now, and there is so much I have learned about it. As an art channel trying to grow my audience, I have finally found the path I want to go through. At the start of my YouTube channel, I had no clue how to talk on the mic, and it was to the point it would take me days to get one voiceover. But as you can see from me talking, it's a lot easier and it flows so much better. If you struggle starting your art YouTube channel just because you fear people wouldn't like your art or you feel too inexperienced to start, I was also there and I wish I started sooner. This is my first video on here, and sadly I did delete it from my page, which I wish I didn't because it really did show the growth of my channel, but luckily I did keep it in my folders. I did not know how to edit, and I also overcomplicated my art when I did not know how to animate or draw overall. But all these mistakes aren't bad to make. I think the worst mistake is never starting, and so I didn't give up. Even if that one video only gave me 20 views, I knew I could do better. I knew there was so much to focus on and practice, and it was so overwhelming with learning to draw, write scripts, thumbnails, and to talk / how to speak. It was hard to choose where to put my energy in. To make it easier on me, I did take a focus on two things in particular, and that was to speak better and to practice anatomy. Speaking was hard since I hated talking in the first place, but I knew that my future self would thank me for starting when I did instead of waiting for my art to become better and my speaking skills to become worse. Both my art skills and speaking have gotten a lot better together and has upped my quality of my videos by a lot. You can even check out my past videos of me speaking to see how nervous I was. I am still a very monotone person, which I don't want to change, but I did want my confidence to talk. I really don't have any advice on how to do stuff to help with talking. For me, I just had to go through it like jumping into the deep end without knowing how to swim. It was frustrating for so long, but now I can voice my video within less than a day. Speaking really is how you gain your audience. It adds so much personality to your art. Since I am going for a cutesy, cartoony style that a lot of people go for, I have to be different in another way. I love artists on YouTube who can connect to their audience, and that's what I'm trying to go for. It's a lot harder than I thought, but I am getting to the point that I'm seeing returning people. Talking for YouTube didn't just change me for my videos, but I can also speak without issue in real life. I have speaking problems on the day-to-day, especially because most of what I speak in my house is Spanish. With these videos, I am retaining my English while speaking, and I can pronounce a lot more words unlike how I used to. Now with my art, there was a big change to it. It was hard knowing what I wanted in art, especially with the struggle of wanting a quick result and a consistent art style from the very beginning. Since I was stressed, I chose the easiest thing to have a balance of practice and finished pieces. I chose to draw people's Roblox avatars. It started to help how I wanted my art to look like without having to think too hard about being creative. And with practice, I did figure drawings in my sketchbook. This gave me a balance to create digital art, as that's what I wanted to post on my channel, but also still practice enough to improve both my art style and anatomy. The first few videos I posted didn't matter to me too much. I knew I was trying to get practice in as much as possible, but I did make a grave mistake. Drawing people for free, expecting them to stick around. I absolutely tanked my viewership and audience by only drawing people's avatars. This is because people started treating me like I owed them something just because they asked me nicely to draw them. The engagement for my long formatted videos also got ruined since people were looking for their avatar then dip right after they didn't see I drew them. I realized that my art channel started to become very superficial with me trying to gain an audience. I was for sure thinking too fast to try to find my niche before even knowing my own personality and art. This caused a very big dilemma for me since I wanted an audience quickly, but I also wanted one that liked me for me. I started spiraling for sure, feeling like I had no purpose to draw and spewed out the last bit of energy in art challenges and fan art. But the more I pushed, I completely clogged my brain to the point that I hated art in November through March. I felt like all the motivation I had for any form of art left me, and I felt nothing for it. I decided to take a step back as I realized pushing myself like this was going to harm me. I started from square one, doodling. Traditional art has always been my biggest reliever since the paper felt more physical. I was left so drained I didn't even want to touch my tablet or look at digital art. So I kept a sketchbook with me to maybe get some doodles in little by little. It was helping me realize I'd done everything wrong this whole time. I was too busy trying to impress my imaginary audience with what I thought people would like instead of finding a way to make what I like into videos. This is when the ball started rolling. It was like it clicked into my head that it was me that was having the problem. I had never thought to question myself and instead only questioned the algorithm. I was trying so hard to fit in into what I thought people wanted to see from artists. I swear I started to realize I have free will. I knew I loved to draw in my sketchbook because of how I like to doodle, and I thought I could implement that into how I draw digitally. I didn't need to draw fan art. I didn't need to please people so that they would stay. The most I needed was being myself from the very beginning, and so I started working with that. Instead of me trying to bring up videos after videos thinking that was going to bring me success, I started to try to fun in testing new backgrounds for my speed paints and drawing my persona until I liked her enough to keep the design. I was finally seeing the freedom that I needed was to let go of the fear of me wasting time by testing out different things. This totally totally exploded my brain because I always knew what I wanted. I wanted to connect and relate with my audience, but I also wanted my art to stand on its own. And what I mean by that is I have always wanted to make my own fantasy worlds of OCs, but I have always been too scared to even start doing so. I didn't know how to make people start caring, but then it hit me. How are people going to care if I don't care enough to make an effort first? The world I imagine is big and overwhelming, but knowing how determined I've been to make my art work, I have been putting a lot of time and effort into all of this. My channel might be slower in posting and my audience will grow inch by inch, but I know now that people will care and are interested in knowing the artist for their art. These 4 months have completely opened my eyes into engaging with my audience the way I wanted, and also my art mirroring what is in my brain. The thumbnails, finding topics, and being creative came easily after this, and now I have more fun with art as a whole. I don't think I would have been able to do so if I didn't let go of the weight of pleasing people. This also made me open to trying new things with anything that comes my way. Now I have so much to do instead of dreading the next step of the path I choose. After a year of art, I still don't know what I'm doing fully, but I do have the right mindset and love for what I want to do. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope that I can at least motivate one person to start a YouTube channel for the first time.